Fake it till you make it.
Is that a real thing?
It's 100% a thing. In the early days, we're reaching out to everyone. No one would really reply. Like tumbleweed. Yeah, it was, bro. No one sees that. No one sees lonely days.
Can we touch on that? Yeah.
Lonely times. We can put all the love and energy into what you want, but is there a business here? Is there?
To reach that level of success where you're now a business, you got to bring in other people.
It depends on just be yourself always, and it will shine through.
Is it possible for somebody that's watching this to land a gig like that? And also, what was it like, bro?
The hardest gigs to arrive. Press everywhere. Crazy. It was warfare. I was the only one who got that shot. I've created a legacy there. I've created art. It was all because I reached out and I asked the question. Ask the fucking question always. What's the worst that can happen?
Boom. Absolute pleasure. Absolute pleasure, yeah. So I know people that are watching this aiming to achieve a level of success that they have not yet reached, and I know that people have got the drive, a level of success that you seem to be attaining, yeah, that other people want to get to. So I'm going to be grilling you, brother, yeah?
Let's go.
But before that, introduction is only correct. Welcome back to A-Brand Show with A-Brand Specialist. We're here, we're in the building today. We are with Brad Green, the Snapshot people. Bro, listen, how would you introduce yourself? Can you please, tell us who you are, what you do, what you're all about, and let's go from there,
thanks
man.
For the intro. So I'm Brad.
Thanks for coming on the show, brother.
Thank you for having me, honestly.
Yeah.
It's a pleasure. It's a great way to start Saturday. So I'm Brad. I'm a photographer. I'm founder and director of the Snapshot People. It's a fairly new photography and now videography business. We used to work in banking. I stopped that in 2019. And to put it shortly, I was able a couple of years ago to get off the hamster wheel of the 9 to 5, coming out of the rat race, and decided to start something completely different, which was photography. Out of the blue, no experience, no qualifications, certainly no degree, just that hunger and that drive and that passion to just succeed. Like, didn't know where it'd land. And it's now landed 4 years later. What I'd say a very successful photo business with a lot of freelancers, a lot of great stuff going on. And sometimes I don't really know how I got here, but it's going well. It's going well.
Smashed it, bro. Let's define what is success, because people are like, all right, cool. What's this level of success that you've reached? How would you define success then? What success are we talking about? Like, you jumped off the hamster wheel. We'll touch on that for sure. The 9 to 5 thing. Maybe now's the right time, or I don't know, you're saying that you've reached this level of success. I'm saying you've reached this level of success. What does that look like? Where are we now?
It's difficult.
And where have we come from?
Yeah, where have we come from? So a bit of background about me. So I was in a very comfortable banking job for too many years.
Earning good money? Good money, yeah. Good
money, and I think the money is something that naturally we all want to earn good money. It's a draw. It's something that keeps you there. It funds certain lifestyles. I've always liked to go out. I'd like to travel. So it was fun. It was all right. And I found ways to motivate myself within banking. But what do I define as success? Now, I find that sometimes the more good things that happen in business, there's a risk of being desensitized.
Right.
Something happening and thinking, constantly needing to do more to get to a level of just that feeling. And I can't put it into words. A level of success. I want to say something quite simple. So I was photographing a wedding yesterday, and sometimes it's been a busy week, as you know. There's been a lot going on. I was sitting, taking 2 minutes. I was just in the toilet cubicle, probably the only 2 minutes I got all day. And I heard some people talking about me, and they were saying some nice things. I was just sitting there, and it's almost like, when you feel like you shouldn't be listening to something, and they were saying really nice things. I'm sitting there smiling, I realised they were talking about me. Sitting there. I heard them leave, and I took 20, 30 seconds. And the way that made me, I've got goosebumps now, the way that made me feel, them talking about me, talking about what I do, forget business for a second, they was talking about me as a human. And in that moment, nothing could compare to that. So I wouldn't say there's one thing that I define as success, but that was pretty close. Knowing that I'd left an impact enough on people that they can talk about me like that when I'm not there. And I just felt as I say, I've got my hairs are standing up now, knowing that I've been able to create something where people see the value of what I'm doing, but more importantly, see the value in me as a person.
Don't, mate. You're getting me emotional, mate. You're getting me emotional. But
truth.
That's what I was going to say. It's like you've created this for yourself from an idea. I've had the pleasure and the honor of listening to another one of your podcasts where you went more into your journey, but like it didn't start for you as a successful business, right? You started with a mobile phone to take pictures, and you didn't know how you were gonna turn this into a business. You didn't know how you were going to monetize or whatever.
It was a dream, bro.
It was just an idea, right?
It was an idea. Yeah, before the dream come the idea. The idea it sounded crazy. So we've spoken a little bit about, I don't want to repeat things I said in the other podcast.
Yeah.
It's background to the listeners. So yes, I started with my ex-girlfriend, Jess. She was like, why don't we become photographers? So what do you mean become photographers? And what we've got is a phone. All right, let's do it with a phone. Let's tap into this demographic of tourists that come to London who sometimes just want the photo. Because, we've all seen it, people at landmarks, like you don't see them look around like, wow, look at Big Ben, look at Tower Bridge, look at Westminster, picture, and then they walk away. I've sat there on a bench opposite the London Eye before, just watching people just taking these photos.
Yeah.
I don't feel they're feeling anything. It's just a photo, just something to get for your Instagram. Now, like I've traveled extensively. It's always great to have a nice travel shot, but some people are not feeling it. So I thought, all right, let's try and tap into that and let's become a photographer for tourists. Let's do it really informally.
But that's different to what you do now.
So different. And you know what happened? A little thing called COVID happened.
Yeah.
We started this business in 2020. We're looking at like February, March. I'd left my banking job a few months before. So this was becoming something like, it wasn't an idea. This was going to be a potential hustle now. Yeah. So we started this in February, March. Going out with this phone, just taking pictures of, and I want to just touch upon again, like last podcast, like my family and friends, the fucking best.
Yeah.
Like the best. Everyone who supported me in some way.
Yeah.
It was all smoke and mirrors at the start. It was all just pictures of people with the phone, like sick phones.
Yeah.
Were clean. Like if you scroll back, you might still.
So when you say smoke and mirrors, you mean in order to attract business, man. To attract customers,
to create this facade that we
fake it till you make it.
Fake it till you make it.
Is that a real thing?
It's 100% a thing.
Shit, man.
Without those people, but you know what? To fake it till you make it, you've got to have. And I say like, friends and family were the most valuable resource I have ever had and will ever have. More so than a £3,000 camera. I'm lucky enough to be able to call on them. And what we did, we took it to the parks. Bear in mind, COVID meant that you had to be socially distanced. We took it to the parks. We took it to places we were allowed to shoot in. And it was all just pictures for that first 4 or 5 months. Friends and family. No one knew that other than the friends and family.
Yeah.
And that was around the time also I stopped worrying about what people thought, because I thought there are people that know what I'm doing here with a phone. I thought, you know what? Like, you got people that support me. If someone's not going to support me with something, then that's fine. That's up to them. But I'm not going to try and please them. Why would I?
So there's two things there. Yeah. One is like, how would you get to that initial level of, say you want to be a photographer, how would you do it? What's your tips? So like, take pictures of your friends, family, take pictures of anyone who's willing to support your dream, your idea. Yeah, I'll let you take pictures of me. What would your tips be to somebody that's looking to begin and start and be a successful photographer? You use the mobile phone.
Just utilize what you... It's funny I should say this. I'm going to say like utilize what you have at your disposal. Now, when I got my first camera, which I'll touch upon in a sec, Jess was saying to me, just get an entry-level one. Just get a £400 one. Don't get the big one. And lucky enough, like my nan, a lot of help with the first camera. Like, big up my nan.
Shout out, Nan. Yo, we love you, Nan.
Yeah. Love you all, family. But Nan, the camera. Appreciate that. Appreciate it.
See.
So I would say with the camera, I went in strong and I got the best one. But as a tip, I would say just utilize what is at your disposal. So whether it be a phone, whether it be your friends, whether it be your family, and just talk to everyone. Tell people what you're doing. Tell people what you're doing unapologetically. So I'm trying this with a phone. You might think it's stupid. Who cares? Because look where this has landed, And then when I picked up that camera, it felt like a natural evolution from the phone. And then it became, oh shit, we've got a few bookings now. I'm going to have to work out how to use this thing. So spent time on YouTube, like free courses, anything available at my fingertips, spent time. And then one day, all of a sudden we was on this professional shoot where someone's paying. And as I said before, this person, she thought we was booked and busy. And she didn't know that morning she was the first customer of the Snapshot people. We turned up, yeah. Like, let me tell you the offering. It was £150, 2 shooters, 3 hours. They would receive hundreds of photos. We'd bring them a little bottle of water, yeah. It was like a lot of manpower, a lot of hours. And compared to today, that same thing would be like maybe 3 times the price. One shooter, they might get 10 to 20 photos, yeah. 90 minutes, yeah. But that person, because of this facade we'd created, she thought we'd been shooting years. And we weren't lying to anyone. We just created this impression that we've been on this thing for a while.
Oh wow,
and
yeah.
that to us, we wasn't being deceitful. We was doing it in our own way, you know?
Yeah.
One thing I'll say, a little tip is with, I can't speak for other industries, like this is mine now, photography.
This is mine now. I like the way that you said that, man. Yeah, that's powerful.
No one does it like I do.
Wow.
I'll die on that hill. Come on. But what I would say is photography for me is 10% of this game. The other 90 is how you make people feel, like these interactions, just being a good person. Because if you like this thing yesterday, I walked into like the bridal party, like they're getting ready, and those girls were my friends within a minute, 2 minutes up. I had them on side. Because of that, you can suggest like more outrageous things, like you can bring people away from the party and say, let's try this. Whereas before they might be a little bit like, I'm not sure. Because they're now on side, you can get them to do crazy things. And then after you look at the photos and you're like, how did I get them to do that? Like, just be the brand. Like, we're on a brand specialist, you know.
Yeah, of course.
I know you know. Be the brand, be genuine, and I truly believe you can't go far wrong.
So with that, being genuine, bruv, I lied to you, bruv. When I was away last week, I was scared. Didn't want to be judged. I gotta be professional all the time. Got this guy who wants to come on the podcast. I'm gassed to have him there. But I was in Ibiza, right? I was in Ibiza. I was on a little retreat, like a little 7-day break, right? And I was scared that if I told you that I was in Ibiza, I was gonna scare you away. You're gonna judge me or whatever like that. And it's about being authentic. So that how do you feel about that? I said I was in Fuengirola, right?
I told you I would judge you more being in Fuengirola than Ibiza. You're talking to someone who's been, I've been to Ibiza 8-9 times. Like, I like to party. Like, I feel like I've got the most energy I've ever had to party.
Yeah.
For you to, I think the key thing was for you to, upon us meeting within 5 minutes, to be able to tell me openly that you'd fibbed. I don't want to say lie.
Yeah, I didn't even lie.
For that to just be a minute later, us laughing about it. It's like, and I challenged you to go away and think about why you would say that and why you would say Fuengirola. You got to own these things, man. You're in Ibiza, you're having a good time. Like, that's what life's about. It's not about that hamster wheel. It's not about doing things that people might judge me. Own it. I mean, Ibiza, I'm smashing out and partying. So I would say to you, like, have a good one. And obviously on the podcast, we're going to break it down.
Yo, people, quickly just want to mention something that I know is going to be of extreme value to you. You know, when you go into the gym, you're not motivated. You're not seeing the results that you want to see, or even you can't take yourself to the gym. Gyms are boring, gyms are intimidating, or it's just not really for you, the workouts that you see going on. Yeah, I can relate. I've been there. Trust me. Gravity Fitness is the solution. And I'm saying that hand on heart, I would recommend it to anybody. There's a whole plethora of products you can choose from on the Gravity Fitness website. They are made to survive an apocalypse. So imagine what they're gonna do to your body and your physique. Gravity Fitness is for all levels of individuals and athletes. It's for people that are trying to get into calisthenics. They've even got these gymnastic rings, so they're for gymnasts as well. You can do body weight exercises and then you can add a little weight to it with the weighted vest, which is adjustable as well. Long story short, bad boy product. That's why I'm bringing it to you. I'm a believer in it, and I'm so grateful that they've partnered with this podcast to bring you 10% off all purchases. Now that is a game changer. I wish I had 10% off when I bought my first vest. I wish we had 10% off. So make sure you go check them out. Use the code ABS10 at checkout for 10% off. Now without further ado, let's get back into the content. I'm reading this book at the minute called Think and Grow Rich, and I was actually posting that whilst I was in Ibiza so that everybody knew. Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. And the only posting that I would do was this book to let you guys know that, I'm still on this path, don't worry. But you mentioned something about putting your dreams out there to your friends and family, and letting the people know like what you want to do and being supported by them, right? So I think that's important to notice as well. Like, to get yourself off the ground, you told the people close to you, this is what I'm doing, and they supported you as well. So it's like, have a good network around you. Like, how important are your friends and your family and your people supporting you? Would you have been able to get to that first stage without them, without taking those pictures of them, and that allowed you to be, that allowed you to be, this is what I'm saying, that allowed you to be the brand, that allowed you to be the photographer before actually you were the photographer?
No way.
Yeah.
Not a chance. Like, I can't speak highly enough, even before business. I'm lucky enough to have, like, it's been a tough week, as we spoke about. My mum's been in and out of hospital.
Yeah.
She's doing better now, touch wood. I spoke to her before the podcast today because I'm almost like an extension of my mum. She's been so successful in life, so successful in business. And she was the first person I called before the podcast today to say I'm about to jump on. And she was like, just be yourself. Like, so the influence of the people I've got around me is something that I can't really put into words. And I can say now that without the support of friends, family, without the support of Jess, because before just Brad, the snapshot people, it was Brad and Jess. And we're still chatting. She was,
Jess is your partner from your ex-partner, right?
Ex-partner, yeah.
We started the business with.
Yeah, we started that together. Yeah, so we separated a couple of years ago. I touched upon this before, instrumental. I've always been, when I was in banking, I'm the first to admit that the admin side and the paperwork side and the stuff, like the boring side, it's not my forte at all. So in those early days, we was as open as we could be, really, to potential, someone moaning, someone saying, you've not done this, someone...
Did Jess work in finance with you?
She did, that's where we met.
Oh, yeah. Mad.
Yeah. So...
Say workplace romance.
Yeah. So she said, we've got to have, if this is going to be a business, we make sure there's terms and conditions. Because if there's not terms and conditions, it's not a business. And we used to tear strips out of each other because it was like, she was telling me all these things. I was like, yeah, I'll do it. And she made me do it. And I'm going to tell you something else as well. So it's crazy that to think how far we've come.
Yeah.
It all really started with, so when we started the photo thing, it's a saturated industry, not the first people to take photos.
It's not, but this is what I'm saying. There's so many photographers out there. So how are people supposed to get ahead? But yeah,
we done things different. We, when we come out of, so it became apparent that we weren't going to be shooting with tourists. A musician got in contact. I can't think when it was. Maybe it was May or June 2020, and we was kind of poking our heads out of lockdown. There was talk about, there was a few, wasn't there? There was talk about maybe coming out of lockdown. So that meant there was potential for us to shoot. It would still be social distanced. So I went out and bought a lens where I could shoot from the way back, and that was an impairment in itself. We was up against it basically, but we said, right, what are we going to do? This musician said, do you do press shots for artists? Looked at each other. That's exactly what we do. That's what we're going to be doing. Press shots for artists, musicians.
You seize the opportunity. You seize the opportunity.
Yeah, move with the times. No tourists. And something about that straight away, musicians, like it's a lot more exciting than tourists, right? It's going to be a lot more authentic. I get to hear about their journey, what they're doing. And we just built, in the early days, this community. And what we said, this is how it works. We said, you're going to meet us. So there's going to be a selection of, it started out with something called the City Tour, yeah? You're going to meet us at Tower Hill, and we're going to go around all the monuments, yeah? That was the safe one.
Yeah.
And there was a little East London one where it was a bit madder.
Wait, so you first got the request to take a picture of an artist.
Yeah.
Then after that, you thought, okay, this is my niche. We'll run with that.
Yeah.
Okay, so you started chaperoning artists around sites.
So you meet us here. So we started out with a safe one, a city shoot. So we thought like we know this area, so we'll go from Tower Bridge to London Bridge to Big Ben, easy, yeah. And they come out of it after like 2 hours with loads of nice photos.
Again, you're kind of using the resources that are available to you because you know that you're...
Open plan. So that started out shooting in places that we was allowed to, yeah?
Right.
Second one was East London. That was around Limehouse. That was cool. But the third time doing that, we walked into a crack den, a place we'd used as a backdrop for one of our shoots. There was someone shooting up there.
Fuck.
And what we did, because the musicians were, by default, they were a lot more chill.
Yeah.
We carried on shooting.
Yeah.
The two people were shooting up like I'm talking like not very far away at all, and they're saying you can't be here. Like we're going to shoot. Like you don't own this place. Like, don't talk to us like that. We're going to shoot, and you're not going to be in the back of the shot. Nothing is stopping us getting the shots. This is ours. We're here. We've shot here before. This is ours. Unless someone physically is going to, we're here. The artist getting these shots is my priority. Yes, that was number 2. And the third one, a third shoot we planned. So you got the city tour. You've got one called Beyond the Basin. The third shoot was called Concrete Jungle, based in Barbican in London. And that to me is where, with the route concept, you know, taking people around these like custom routes, that's where the fun started. It was like taking people around like underground, like car parks, places that you definitely shouldn't be.
Yeah, so there's a couple of risks involved in what you're doing. So you took some risks.
Took some risks, and we was pretty...
What type of risk? Like what happened?
So the council were a pain in our ass, man, for the first few months of doing that. We got around it somehow in our own little way. But it would always be at a certain time. So if we'd be shooting in the middle of the day, there'd be a lady come round and she'd say, you know, you're not meant to be here. The first time was quite stern. By the 4th, 5th time, she knew who we were. We'd she'd say, okay, I'm gonna walk away a little bit. And we'd get it done quick, basically. But the turning point of when we knew we'd need to maybe have a studio at some point for these like high-end shoots where there can't be anything go wrong. We were shooting with a DJ, WAF. He's big in the electronic scene, and I've been listening to partying to WAF music for years, maybe 8, 9, 10 years prior. And we reached out to him. You know, you've heard me speak before. You know that in the early days, we'd reach out to everyone. Saying,
yes.
Let's do something. And no one would really reply. No one. It was like tumbleweed. WAF replied. Sick.
That hit me hard.
WAF. Yeah, it was, bro. No one sees that. No one sees.
You just hit me again, bro. Yo, no one sees that. What?
Lonely days.
We touch on that. Yeah.
Lonely times. Thinking someone
building a business from scratch. Yeah. To the people watching and the people listening, you are trying to get somewhere in life. The things that we've touched on already is one. I was fibbing about Ibiza because I cared about what people think. I thank you so much. Yeah, thank you. Bro.
And now you know it's silly. Yeah. And now you won't do that again.
Even chase behind the camera. So you'll be unapologetically you. 1, 2. You are going to receive a lot of no's. Again, this is in the book that I'm reading, Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. If you know, you know. If you don't, get to know whatever. Yeah, that's what I'm reading at the most. What I was posting when I was in Ibiza. Right? Yeah, it says that you are gonna get a no. Yeah, you are gonna get a no, and it's about how much do you want it, right? The second point is this: like, as I say, I grew up with my mom. She's a single businesswoman, independent. She's never stopped working. She's had so many businesses, and I've assisted her. Thankfully, that's what's made me who I am today. I posted flyers through every single door in an attempt to get it off the ground. Now, in 2024, what do we do to build a business from scratch, from an idea? You've mentioned that you sent hundreds of messages. You told the story, man. It's your story, man. Tell the people what needs to go into it, please. Thank you.
After the first time we shot that Concrete Jungle with an artist, we was largely untroubled by the council. It was fine. After the first time we shot that, we went to, so Jess and I, bear in mind, we're still working at like £150 for 2 of us for 8 hours manpower or whatever. We're cycling there and back because the trains we're trying to save money, but also COVID. So do you know what I thought? We've earned a for the work we're putting in and the energy and the time and the love we put into everything, we're not earning much here compared to what like established photographers are. So I thought after, you know what we're going to do? We high-fived and we cycled to Box Park, had a nice meal, probably spent about a third of the winnings per se, How it would work is like the customer would send 75 before and then 75 after.
After, yeah.
So you'd see the 75 come through and you'd be like, yes, let's spend it on some food. And this, let me tell you about this. In the space of 60 seconds, I walked out of Box Park, I checked my phone, and someone who was due to book in the next day, they was doing some branded stuff. So that was a £200 one, which was massive at the time. They put 100 down. Can't do it anymore. Something's come up. And it might only be one booking, but the feeling in my stomach, bro, it was like I was already planning in my head, because I was naive as well. I was thinking that just because someone says they're going to shoot, it's going to happen. Yeah. Sometimes it doesn't always work out like that. And it hit me. I was like, I kind of needed £100. You know? We're trying to get the money up as well. We're looking with one eye on this could be a business. Yeah. And then that happened, and then I walked down, and I told you we're cycling everywhere. Imagine this, so my bike is still there and the wheels are gone. No, you know what it was? It was one wheel. They took one wheel. Yeah. I'd rather they take two, because what the fuck can I do with one? Yeah. And I was like, that's going to cost me probably what I've just earned to get another wheel. So what have I done here? What have I done? It's not money. And that was when I thought, okay, if I'm going to continue with this, it's not going to be money for a while. It's going to be because I love this and because I feel like I could be really good at it, It took the wheel, man. And I went home that night, so Jess went back to her place. I went home wheeling my frame with one wheel along Liverpool Street. Mad. So basically you just work for free, or you just work for minors? Someone made a comment and I just wanted to... Anyway, I didn't become a nice person. Obviously, I went home and I went upstairs. I cried in frustration. Mad. I cried in frustration because I thought, I don't know where we're going with this. We can put all the love and energy into what you want, but is there a business here? Is there? I don't know. And are you still sending out messages at this point, or what? It's just like... It makes up 5% of the business, me sending out messages. The rest comes from word of mouth, PR agencies. I shot that wedding yesterday. I've already seen a couple of follows have come through because the bride has posted the teaser photo. Yeah, sorry. Most events, most weddings, like someone there will book me in. They will see how I engage with people. Yes, So most of it comes from... Cool. So at this point, you know, so you're upstairs, bro. You're crying in frustration. Like, I'm trying to figure out in the timeline, like where this is, like in terms of your journey. Well, the more we done, the more. So the music space in London is actually there might be a lot of musicians, but it's a smaller community than you think. So everyone would post and they would credit us. Yes. It went from 1 shoot a week to 2 to 5 to 10, to the point I was running around like a headless chicken. Man. Yeah. Like, I couldn't cope with the work. And then it was a few months later, like, we started to get event bookings, and someone asks about brand stuff, and I was like, wow, this is some higher end stuff now. And there was all of a sudden there was too much work for me, and there must have been about 6-7 jobs that other photographers I knew, I was giving the work away. I was like, there's jobs come up, I had no involvement. I was like, here's their number, reach out to them. Until one day I thought, that person not so long ago that was like crying in frustration in their room, bang, yeah. Never told anyone that, by the way. That person that was crying in frustration, how silly, like, if they could have known that maybe 6-7 months later they would be in a position where they're giving away work. No, I've got to do something about this, and I've got to turn this into a business. So I sent one person on the first job under my name, and I was terrified that day of what could go wrong. I'm a positive person, but that day it was just like a glitch in the matrix. I was thinking about what could go wrong, not what could go right. And I waited to hear from the customer the next day. And I got that message, and you know what? It popped up. I turned my phone off. I turned it back. I was like, I don't know if I'm ready for this. Like, this is going to define my day, my week, possibly the business. You know, my dad is so much wisdom from my dad. You know, my mum, like, go for it. My dad was like, they're a representation of you. Be careful. They was both right in their own ways, but I went for it. I sent someone to a job. Okay. I turned the phone on, and the first message I saw was wow, with heart eyes. The woman had seen some teasers already. She said she was brilliant. She was happy with the person that you'd managed to send on the job. Fantastic. She was like, you are now our go-to for everything. Thank you for making that. And she was thanking me. And I'm like, I wasn't there. And this is what I've got used to now. People thanking me for the work of these amazing people I'm working with. It went well. So started sending people to other things, started growing the list of freelancers until now, like, we've got to this point somehow where I can unbelievably now focus on things that inspire me, things that make me feel, you got them things, yeah?
They're there somewhere, definitely, bro. It's whatever drives me. So 100%, definitely. Right now, this conversation, bro, as you know, I'm overwhelmed, fam. I'm not overwhelmed. I'm just riding the wave, though. I'm well open to more. Don't tell the universe I'm overwhelmed. Like, yo, give me more. This moment right now, I'm gassed, bro. It's sick. Yeah, this is driving me right now. So big. So what I'm trying to say is that there's an order to things, right? Because I'm trying to keep track for the benefit of myself and the people that are listening and watching how to get from point A to point B. And you changed from being an independent photographer now, this is what you're telling us now, you brought other people in. And we talk about escaping the rat race and jumping off the hamster wheel, right? And I know from chatting to you previously that you knew that you were gonna have to have help again, because this is a situation that I'm in now. I'm sitting on like 4 or 5 episodes, like I'm doing all the work myself, doing it all myself right now. So what are you telling us that is what you're saying to reach that level of success where you're now a business, the Snapshot people, you gotta bring in other people now? Is that the realization that you had? And then was that the first job that you did? How does it work?
I think it depends on whether someone is content being a one-man band, just one person, or whether they want to take it to a business. That is the big question. Right. I never consciously thought this is something that just happened. Yeah. So I was happy being a one-man band, but I was also conscious of the fact that there was a ceiling on what I could earn, what I could achieve, because there's only one of me, right? Right. I never even thought about, again, naive, I never thought about this could be a business. So I guess really all I can say is we clearly wasn't driven by the money in the early days. We wasn't really earning much of it.
Right.
I found that by not caring about the money, I've been able to stay genuine. And one thing no one can ever say about me is I'm not genuine, I'm not authentic. Authenticity is, like I always talk about it, is huge. It's huge. People, when we met today, we both knew. Yeah? I look you in the eye, we've known each other an hour or two. Yeah. We both knew. We both felt the authenticity. And you can't really put that into words. So all I would say is, like, things are popping up all the time, in different industries, and things last sometimes they don't last. It seems like the things that don't last are when people are looking for that pound sign. So just be yourself always, and it will shine through, and people will remember how you made them feel. They will never forget that. And that I guess it might not seem like much, but what I'm trying to it's huge.
What I want to touch on, the big cheese as well. As you can see, no arguments here. Yeah. And by the way, I felt the authenticity through the voice notes. I don't know
what it was. Voice notes.
Yeah. Okay. Why?
Big, because there's nothing like having a face-to-face, but to build rapport it's the next best thing to face-to-face. Just for someone to hear that you're interested, for someone to hear the energy in your voice, someone to know that you care. And this leads back onto what I just said, and that you're not just after the pound sign, yeah? Like, that shines through, and it shines through in your tone, it shines through in the vocab you use. And I've converted so many people that said, I'm not a voice note person. And I'm like, all right, but if we keep talking like it, you might end up being, because if I'm going to be sending voice notes, I want you to send one back. Let's chat, let's get things done. And you and I have been able to get things done, and we've been able to plan this. And again, thank you so much for having me on here. Voice notes, we got stuff done that otherwise would have taken. And also, when you exchange texts, sometimes it can come across the wrong way. Yeah, a text, if someone says amazing, it could just be like, that's a bit blunt. Or if I send you a voice note, amazing. The difference in that, yeah? And I attribute voice notes in the early days. Like, I was just like, whenever someone would see me in London, I would just constantly be voice noting. Wow. Phone was always like that. I don't know how I wasn't a victim of one of those guys that just takes...
Snatch your first, snatch and grab.
I'm the sitting duck.
Yeah.
Still am.
They could be watching this. They could be watching this. He's a target.
I'm the
nah,
demographic.
don't listen. This guy's a unit, bro. 6'3", man. Ripped out his face, man. Good luck to you. He's just ran a fucking marathon, Dan. If you want to snatch his phone, he's coming after you, mate. 48 at 26 miles, bro. You better have it in you.
As someone who, you know, like in good shape yourself, having someone who's trained, can we talk about the power of when you feel good? When you feel good in yourself, like, oh my God, how much better is business? How much better is everything? How better are your interactions? You know, your aura. Because I know that right now I'm not even in my best shape, but I'm feeling better, and it's shining through.
I had something to say. I put a thread on this morning. I'm not fully active on all social media platforms right now, but I posted a thread, and I said, yo, beware of these motivational because if you watch these people, they will have you up in the morning doing the maddest personal development, whatever it is, and you was that guy this morning. You see how I'm pumped today? I woke up this morning and I've seen you running around and I was like, no, bro, like, I'm out of bed. I've got this club, big up to our affiliate partner, Gravity Fitness, I use their products as well. Your past leads you to hearing it, so I was unconventional training styles, and I found Gravity Fitness, so I use their products. I've bought a couple of them. That's it, we recommend it. Obviously, you know that we've got the code, make sure you use that. But I've used the club this morning. I was like, yo, Brad is out there running around. I was like, no, he's getting that energy, he's getting the pump, because I know how good you feel when you exercise and when you're in good form. I was like, I need to do that. So I've woke up, ran, done a little workout, and I feel great for it. So I couldn't, man. You believe the same, right?
I do,
you're in good shape.
Yeah, I want to be frank about something as well. Sometimes we're fed things on social media. We're fed this idea that it's like magazines as well is obviously the big problem with like body confidence, etc. But I wish there wasn't this perception that everything has to be perfect. You know, because I can tell you now that, you know, I may be feeling good now, but it's not always been like that, you know? Like, right. we had a laugh the other day about, you know, I'm going to tell you something. You know, I guess it's a funny story, but it's also a bit of a flashpoint for me. So, like, I was at the football with some friends. It was my birthday a couple of years ago. I think it was 2021, so business was still fairly new. I was going through a little bit, like it had been a tough month. It was around the time everyone was dropping down with COVID for Christmas. And it was my birthday.
That was a muzzle.
It was crazy, right?
Omicron.
What the hell was Omicron, man?
Wiped me out. That was like the second strain, wasn't it?
But the names they was coming up with.
Yeah. That was a muzzle.
Steve at some point, wasn't there? Like, there was...
Go on. What did you say?
Anyway, like crazy. Yeah. And I'm like my mum, like I'm high energy, and I want other people to be high energy too.
Shout out Mumsy.
Yeah. Shout out Mumsy. And everyone was dropping down with COVID to the point my mum couldn't come, my dad couldn't come. I think someone else had to drop out. So there was, luckily enough, like got such a good network. There was about 7-8 of us left. So me, Jess, my brothers, my friends, and we was at the football, and I'd been drinking all day. 22nd of December, Christmas was coming. I was indulging. So Jess and I, we're sitting on our own. My friends are behind. And Jess and I, so it was Tottenham West Ham, we were sitting in the corporate area. This was the treat. My mum and dad had treated us. They couldn't be there. It was a shame. And Tottenham went 1-0 up. And Jess and I, oh my God, it was like we was possessed. We were standing up. You know what, it's usually 3,000 or 4,000, but there was 6,000 West Ham fans below, because it was a cup game, bigger allocation. And we're standing, screaming, looking at them, just scream, no malice, but just celebrating. And then it went 1-0, and West Ham scored, and we sat down. We slumped in our seats, and we was like, how can we be seen after that? Basically, just we was probably giving it some. Yeah. And then we stood up, and oh my God, they're all just looking at Jess and I. And you've got 5,500, 6,000 people. So that's two things. One, they was they were shouting. She's got chlamydia. They were shouting this, It was that was funny, but also I saw they was like doing some signs up, and it was almost like almost implying like one of us was like fat, like a puffer fish sort of thing. And I remember at the time thinking like, what Jess isn't fat. Why would they be saying that to? Yeah? No, bro, honestly, I'm being very frank here.
Where's the fat guy?
Where's the fat guy? I was like, looking behind me. I was like, didn't see anyone. And come out, and it's corporate, so like straight to the free drinks at halftime. I see my friends, because they've been sitting just behind. I said to them, you okay, boys? And they said, are you okay? I said, why wouldn't I be? And I realised that I was the guy.
Yeah, fucking hell.
I wasn't even fat. I was just holding a bit more than usual.
Right.
And it's funny, the point is, it's funny how you look back on previous versions of yourself and you think, wow, I'm so much, going back to defining success. I don't know what success is, man, but that's success for me, feeling in a better spot physically, mentally, because I think it shows sometimes when you maybe lose yourself, let yourself go a little bit, and maybe stem sometimes from the mental side. So that was pretty crazy, but
that's why the rat race is kind of fucked as well. Pardon my French, yeah, sorry, mom. But it's the lifestyle, the work-life balance. Some people find it so hard to achieve, and it's like sedentary. I've worked office jobs, you've worked office jobs. Sometimes I prefer the warehouse job. I've worked warehouse jobs. I prefer the warehouse job because I'm active. Like when I'm sitting in the office, they're telling you how to exercise at your desk. Stand up every 15 minutes, use your keyboard like this, because it's that lifestyle where sometimes the rat race runs us into the ground. Health is wealth, is what I'm trying to say. You got a well-paid job, but you're out of shape, your back hurts. Like, we have to get that balance. We have to get that balance correct, man. So,
and also with these 9-to-5 jobs, a lot of them, if you drop dead, they're going to most people won't know your name, the people high up, and two, they'll replace you tomorrow. You're not meant to. They're talking about upping the retirement age to 75. Really? So we're on that hamster wheel for our whole life. And then at 75 you stop, and then if you're lucky enough to live to 75, so our life is going to be dedicated to a corporate company that doesn't know our name, right? Okay, it blows my mind, and I speak from a very fortunate position of finding my passion and finding my calling, because it's not as simple as just I'm going to do this, because like it takes a while to know what. One day it makes sense, yeah. And I'm a big advocate of anyone who's supported me in any way. Fuck it, even people who've not supported me, if they come to me and say, I've got a couple of ideas of maybe how I want to get out of this 9-to-5, I'll help them, because nothing like that feeling when you realise you've escaped it.
All right, I know we've touched on it already, but boom, if someone was going to ask you that question, a couple of ideas, like what would it be? Quick time, like
ideas for
how to escape. Yo, you said it, even if someone that doesn't like you came up to you and asked you, yo, I got a couple of ideas how to get out of 9-to-5, you'd help them. What tips would you say? Like, because you quit your job, bro. Yeah.
Every time you go out, so a couple of things. So every time you go out, exchange, wherever you go, whether you're out for a drink, whether you're out for lunch, talk to people, exchange social handles with 5 people. Do it every time. What's the worst that's going to happen? Someone will say, oh, I don't have Instagram or no. So what, man? Because you don't know who you're talking to. It can change your life. Literally, some of the chats I've had that have enabled me to be in the position I'm in now with the brand stuff and the work I'm doing, it's come from me being the person I am and me reaching out. And also, I hate to say this, there's going to be people that are not going to want to hear this, because a lot of my friends are big advocates of sleeping and getting your 8 hours. But if you want to, this is my opinion, if you want to succeed in a new business and you want to be the best, I believe I'm the best, yeah? You got to forget sleep for a while. Like, I'm telling you, like, some work in America last year, like, I didn't sleep for 3 days. And I come back to this hotel, which I was essentially using as a storage locker. And she said, where have you been? And I said, I've been working. And she said, what do you mean? I said, I've been working. She's like, when did you sleep? I said, I've not slept. And what I was able to achieve in those 3 days, I was struggling after. I was
flagging a little bit, slightly.
I was like, that was like, my legs are hurting a bit. But I'd achieved in those 3 days what I would have done, like 2-3 weeks worth of networking, and just look, it works for me. I can survive on. I've never been a great sleeper. It works for me. I can. It's weird that I always seem to have another gear. You know, I can feel tired, and then I hear a bit of music or a job will come in at 10 p.m. I'll be like, yeah, I'll go do it myself.
First burst of energy.
Sometimes I might have a coffee, but Generally, I feel like I can, if I have to stay awake for 3-4 days, like, so be it. If it's going to mean finding myself in some of the positions I have, then and so be it. Sleep when you're dead.
Yeah, because some people sleep when you're fucking dead.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I don't want to alienate people. Like, we need sleep.
Well, I've got the middle ground. I've got the middle ground.
Sleep is important. I don't do that all the time.
Of course.
I just mean you've got to forget the 9 to 5 mentality. I think in the early days, like, you've got to just work out what's best for you. There's Make your own hours. Yeah, it's going to be all different.
We'll check this one. Yeah, like I said, I've got previous guests on this podcast. I really respect their opinion. They've enlightened me to the importance of sleep, and I hear it, right? So the middle ground, I think, is a phrase that I've heard is like, you got your 9 to 5, but what's your 5 to 9? You know, I heard that one.
Never.
So I'm going to take that one. Have that. I like that. What's your 5 to 9? What are you doing after hours to work on your own dream and your own vision? So, yeah, man, big up, respect. So, yeah, man, again, the selfish one that I want to touch on now is something that I was looking into again during my holiday, not the Ibiza one, yeah?
The Frangarola one, yeah?
Yeah, the Frangarola one. Yeah, that one. So is gig economies. Do you know what I mean by the gig economy?
I don't, tell me.
Right, so a gig economy is like you've got a gig, it comes up as and when, and that's how you can make money as a freelancer. I've tried it, fucking hard sometimes, but it's like that's where you can earn a little bit of extra income, side income. It's what's happening in the future, yeah? And I say that because I know that you are, correct me if I'm wrong, you're doing bits on bark.com, right? What's up? You're up there, right?
Yeah, and I want to thank someone else. So I done a job for someone called Tom, who's now a friend. His company's called Great British Events Company. Done a job for him 2 years ago. He found me through Bark. And then on the second job I done with him, he was talking about this Bark thing. I was like, what's Bark? Can I see? He showed me. And if I could click my fingers, I would. There we go. That was the moment, Tom. You're a G. That was the moment Tom, when I went from, artist shoots to brand agency. And I was able to find, look, the last 18 months, Nike, Apple, Emirates, Aer Lingus, Arsenal, not my favourite club, but what a job. There's many platforms out there, and I've found one that works for me. May not work for everyone, depends what industry you're in, but we've now got to the position we're rated number 1 in Europe on there, and how that works is it's like a credit system where you buy credits. So prime example of having to speculate to accumulate, yeah?
Right, how do you mean?
Well, for example, if you want to buy a lead, it might cost you can see what someone wants. It's like it says.
That's how Bark works, right?
Yeah. So
because I've been on it since 5. Yeah? Well, I've been on it previously, and then I saw that you were on there, and I went on it again recently because we're always trying new things. But it's like you have to purchase leads and stuff like that. That's how it works.
Yeah.
Right?
So it's like you can see a description, you can see the date, you can see the timings, and you can see what the gist of what they want. You can say it's a corporate event. It's going to be in a few weeks' time, and corporate events, they pay the bills. They're often quite fun there as well because we're moving into a post-COVID world of people actually want to try and give it, staff are trying to have a bit of fun now, and that's being recognised. So how it works is you pay sometimes for that, it might be £18, £19. So
wow.
It's a lot.
Speculate to accumulate.
Yeah. I've got a subscription where every month I pay £600, and then it's like a game, and it's like, I like to gamify everything, one big game, try and turn that £600 into... Let's try and turn it into 4,000.
I think gamifying life, is a very good way to deal with the frustrations. Because when you're playing a game, Xbox or whatever, I'm not really a big gamer like that, but you're getting annoyed, shall we say, vexed, pissed off, whatever. But it's still a game. You lose a level. You see kids throwing the PlayStation out the window, throwing the controller.
As long as you got another life.
But it's still a game, right? So you're willing to put that £600, 6 bills, you put it into your game of life.
That's my gambling. So I believe everyone should have a vice. I'm not a gambler, but I am essentially, by paying £600 every month, I am gambling.
Well, you bet on yourself.
Yeah, you bet on yourself, and there's no one else I'd bet on other than myself.
Come on.
Every time, yeah. So,
I'll bet on you as well. I'll bet on you as well.
Appreciate you, bro.
Yeah, I bet on myself as well.
as you should.
And
always.
I bet on everybody that's watching this podcast that's got the correct mindset that implements the stuff that we're talking about as well. Abraham especially, so respect.
There's something to be said for the knockbacks as well, because sometimes you buy the lead and you just wasted nearly £20 on something that don't even reply. But then there'll be another one where you buy it and it'll be like, it's Selfridges. I'll call them straight away. It's like, and they book you in. It's like, right, so that's a relationship, because this is the thing as well. This is why things are going well now, touch wood. Once a company, if they need a photographer, there's a chance they're going to need one again, yeah? We become the go-to. We become the solution for everything, for headshots, for events, for someone. It might be the director's daughter's getting married or something. We become the go-to for everything. Video. We now do video. They won't need to look again, and we make it so that's the one time you'll post on Bark for photography. You won't need to look again. We've got you now. So it then becomes, so £20 might be, the event might be, could be 600, could be 700, could be 800. But you've got to look beyond that. You've got to think, okay, this is a company that are going to book. They can do a summer party. They can do a Christmas party. They're going to need headshots. Yeah. They're going to do networking panels. It's not one job. It's the start of a relationship. It's the start of a legacy, like a little, almost like micro legacy with that company. So when you look at it like that, you start to think, I'm going to make my credits back pretty quick. But one thing I will say is the importance of when you get that lead, other people want it too. So you've got to call them. If they don't answer, you've got a voice note, and you've got to win them over like that without meeting them. And that's the challenge. Just working with different people, different personalities. It's a challenge, and I relish it.
Smashed it. So you mentioned the knockbacks though, right? You spend some money on a lead, nothing happens, you might lose a job. Can you tell us about some particularly dark days for the podcast? What you got? Some particularly dark days some shit where shit's gone pear-shaped.
Yeah, pear-shaped, yeah.
And obviously the overcoming as well, so we can learn whatever lessons from.
So one thing I tried to do in the early days is I tried to be, when I realised that this was going to take off as a business, I tried to be everything to everyone in business. Like people wanted this, that people wanted me to do food. I was like, yeah, I can do food. Tried product stuff. We sent some sweets in the post. It went horrifically. The pictures are crap. It just wasn't. Look, the business is the snapshot, people, and it will always be. When there's a person there, like that's my passion, yeah. So we do lots of interior stuff, and we do stuff at billboards, and people are over the moon with the work. But people is the passion always, yeah. So there was a day we had a makeshift studio in. It was like
this ain't the piss. This is not the piss stain pop-up studio.
The Piss Stain pop-up studio. Yeah. No. So, okay, let me tell you about the two studios. I'll tell you about the first one briefly. So in the early days with the root concept with the musicians, we had a pop-up changing room, and there was nowhere after COVID to get changed. All the toilets were shut. The restaurants weren't letting people in. So we were the only photography company / people, whatever we were at that time, to offer a place for the person to get changed, and it was portable. And it was so fucking hard to put the thing away. Honestly, it was so it'd pop out easily, but then putting it away would take so long, and I'd be all red in the face and I'd be sweating. But it was a sell, and it'd be like a female artist.
USP.
Yeah. You need that USP, and that was part of it. A female artist that she's like, I've got three outfits, whereas other people might be like, you can only do one. You can't get changed in like a cold tunnel where people are walking through. But you can, because we've got the pop-up changing room. We got a bit of attention from that, like people being curious, people being a bit like tutting when it went even their way, like, fuck off, we're doing our thing. So that was the first studio, and it was horrible, that thing. We replaced it. It was like, they got dirty. We were shooting in tunnels. It was like, we were shooting in some like gritty shit places that yielded good photos. Yeah. That was the first one. The second one was an actual studio. So it was a room in the back of a barber's, 3 doors down from our house. Not many people knew that. We had some lighting stuff, and I was doing it. I was taking some nice shots, but I knew that I wasn't the studio guy yet. It wasn't me. I had stuff to learn. And Jess's sister, Kayla, who was our face of the brand in the early days with the phone, she was super, super cool, like perfect person to help you get off the ground and get your name out there with photos. And she had a pretty good network as well, 3,000-4,000, so people would book in off the back of her. Turned out she was signed to a small independent, a small label, and they needed photos for her release in a studio. I was like, yeah, yeah, we got it. We can do that. Just like apparently we can do food and product and everything. I was trying to do everything. And Jess was like, are you sure you've got it? I was like, I've got it. Yeah. And I was like, life in this industry is like kicking 10 balls in the air and trying to keep them all up and not let them hit the floor, yeah? So I was like, I've got it. Not with, this was me, I've got it, yeah? So they turn up and it's a small room and she's got an entourage. I think there was like 2 or 3 other people. They've got like someone styling the stuff. They've got £100 worth of food. And as I was setting up, as I was laying out the food, I've got 2 lights, yeah? 1 light, 2 lights. I've not used one of them. 1 light, it broke. The glass broke and it weren't working. I was like, and if I was in that position now, of course I would know how to use everything proficient. I would know how to get around that. We had no lights. We had no lights at all. We just had the flash on the camera, which was weak. We had to do the thing without flash in a studio. And I always remember, feel it in my chest, man. I remember the girl styling, brilliant she was. She'd styled everything perfectly, like teddy bears and food and just like stuff was everywhere. And she went, oh, we're not using any flash. I was like, no, we're good. And I was taking the pictures. And I'm like,
so you're blagging it right now?
Yeah, blagging it. Because blagging it you associate with like coming up with the results. Like, I knew this wasn't going well and I didn't know what to do, bro. And that was the first time I was like I'm in over my head here, yeah. And come out and that had been a tough week as well, just for whatever reason. And Jess was like, all good? And I was like, nah, not all good. Not all good at all. And it just, naturally, like Jess looked to me for that project to have it under control. I thought I did, but I didn't. So I had to then, like 4 days later, explain that like the pictures were fucked basically. It was grainy. It just wasn't working. And
saying depressed.
We had to do it all again.
Shit.
I went out and I bought all the food. We got Jess's mum to come back and help style the stuff, and we done it again. And we done it. I say we. I took on one of my people now, one of my most reliable people. She came and shot it. I oversaw it because I didn't know how to do it.
So to overcome that, you just took some time out. You just went again, just dusted yourself off.
What I came away from that with was hire people that are better than you at certain things. Don't try and do it yourself. Play to your strengths. And if you have people around you that are better at certain things, you can learn from them as you go. And that's what I've done. And I've got to myself a point now where I'm a pretty great all-rounder. But in that moment, I was in over my head.
So you can learn from those people as well, right?
Always. People have been doing things. I'm new to this game, man. Like, people have been doing this thing a lot longer than me. So just learning from the people around you and just realising that you can't do everything, you know?
Deep, man. I hear that, bro. I'll try and take that one on board as well. So I got to ask, you're training for the marathons. You ran a marathon anyway, successfully.
Yeah.
Bruv, you've worked on behalf of some pretty high profile people, right? Demi, Lovato, will.i.am, big up will.i.am, love Black Eyed Peas, innit? From, you know, big, yo, come on, man. All this geezer. That's crazy, bro. That's kind of like one of the most recent things that's swept the internet by storm. Everyone knows what has been on, running the length of Africa and stuff like that. Can you tell us a bit, like, what was your role? How did that come about? How can somebody, is it possible for somebody that's watching this to land a gig like that? And also, what was it like, bro? You know what I'm saying? We haven't even spoke about that yet. It's just crazy.
So my mum
on or off camera.
Yeah.
Sick, bro.
My mum has always said to me, one of the best bits of advice I've ever had off anyone is, as long as you've got a tongue in your mouth and you can speak, anything is possible, yeah? Nothing to stop you speaking to anyone. Forget all this red tape about, I can't say that, I can't do that, I can't send the email. You can do whatever the fuck you want, yeah? If someone doesn't reply, so what? Send another one, yeah? I talk about the 95% that comes from word of mouth and comes from like existing relationships with agencies. Brilliant. But what people don't see is the 5% of brands I reach out to, you know, me wanting to work with them. And I've done that. I thought I've been following this guy for, he's running Africa.
Oh, so you was following it?
Yeah, I followed him from, I don't want to, I want to be transparent. It wasn't the day one. It was maybe a month in that I come across.
No, how are we supposed to know about him on day one?
Pretty early.
Yeah. So a month in you found out about this?
A month in, yeah. And I was like, firstly, like I didn't know him at the time, so I thought, surely not. I'm an optimist, but that's going to be difficult. I wasn't thinking about the physical side. I was thinking about the potential for serious danger and kidnapping. Like he's going through some places that are at risk right now. Yeah,
because you've travelled yourself.
Yeah. I was like,
you've been through some difficult situations anyway. But I've
been in a few. Yeah. I've been in a few. Yeah. And I thought, so I kept following him, and he got to halfway, and he was pissing blood. I thought, nah, okay, shame. Like what a shame. Like it would still be great to hear his side of things one day. But then he got through it, and then he got to 3/4, and then I started thinking, I'd love to be involved in that. Like, love to be involved. And I just thought, I've missed the boat now. He's got his content team. But so the first 4 months of this year, 2024, I spent in Central America. And I was in Colombia to finish, so Belize down to Colombia. And I was working out my route home, and I had something I had to be back for. So I knew I had like a 10-day buffer, working out, should I maybe go for a Cuba on the way home or something like that? I couldn't work it out. So I fired off a message to GiveStar, which is the platform that you raise money for. He raised over $1 million, by the way. Monumental effort, like crazy, like over $1 million.
Shout out
GiveStar, shout at him, but also GiveStar, what platform. I reached out to them, and I said, it's one of the rare times I didn't feel silly, but it felt fruitless. I felt like this is a waste of 3-4 minutes for me. They're going to have someone already. Like even me, the biggest optimist, felt like, nah, it's still worth a go, who knows? And I said, like, if you've probably got your team sorted, but would love to be there in some capacity. She come back, I was at breakfast in Colombia, like 10 a.m. And I was like, feeling a bit flat, feeling a bit lethargic, had a travel day the day before, I think. Just been partying a lot, to be honest. Yeah. And I got this email come through, and I saw the subject, and I was like, sharp intake of breath, and I opened it, and she was like, we haven't sorted it out. We was literally sorting it out. We was in the process of doing it, like in the last 24 hours. You have reached out at the perfect time. Here's what we can offer you. Does it work for you? It works for me. Like the feeling, I was like, wow. And just like that, in the space of like 5 seconds, I've gone from not having an idea of what I was doing after Colombia and between Colombia and the UK to, all right, 3 days time, we're going to Tunisia.
What were you actually doing there?
I was the photographer at the finish line. So there was a few people that had chosen to like travel there and document it, but I was the booked and paid official photographer for the charity GiveStar. And what that involved is we had a little briefing at a hotel the day before, but I was first on site. I was like helping like get the throne ready that it'd sit on. I was interviewing his, because no one thought to do this, by the way. I was interviewing his dad, like the dad of the hardest geezer.
So you're doing a video thing?
Yeah, like just on the phone.
Come on.
Authentic, like BTS content.
Yeah.
The hardest geezer, like, so surely there's only one geezer as hard as his dad, no? Speaking, like I was gassing him up, and he didn't even want a video. And I was like, come on, you've got to have a video. I was like,
because you do it at the weddings, right? Yeah, you just be you. And
I'm your guy today. When you see, let me tell you something. We're going to come to this in a sec. I said, when you see a camera, like you can see a lot of cameras. Like, look at my one. Yeah, that's all I ask. Yeah, yeah. And
that's sick.
His girlfriend.
I feel like I might give this photography a try. Yeah, go on.
Interviewed his girlfriend, and we just had a little like off, very informal chat. And then the hardest geezer arrived. He got there. He finished. Press everywhere. Crazy. And in amongst all the chaos, like it was warfare. Smashed my way to the front, to the point where he's on the throne and there's people behind. People have been doing this game like 10, 20 years longer than me. Yeah, like I'm a newbie, and it's me that's smashed the front. And he's sitting on the throne with a strawberry daiquiri with his girlfriend on his lap. And I just shouted out, Emily, like that. And she looks at me and she gave him a tap, like, Russ, look at Brad. And I was the only one who got that shot on the throne, both of them looking. And the next morning they all went to press, and it was in the Evening Standard. It was in ITV, BBC, Sky. I was like, that's my work. I've created a legacy there. I've created art. And it was all because I reached out and I asked the question. Ask the fucking question always. What's the worst that can happen?
Brother.
One of my career highlights.
Well done, man. Congratulations, man. I'm proud of you still. I'm very, very proud of you, man.
Appreciate you.
Bro, you just fucking wiped my brain with that. Honestly, you just wiped my brain with that one. Yeah. Congratulations, artist Gizo. You by rights, you're the artist photographer.
I'll take that. I'll take that.
You know what I mean? Elbowing, man.
But really and truly, we can. Like, why not? Why not ask the question? Why not?
That's what I was gonna say. So do you believe that it's achievable for somebody else to achieve what you just achieved as well? Somebody and try doing the same thing. Do you know what I mean?
I do.
Yeah.
I do. In whatever industry you want to go after, like most industries are saturated. It's very hard to come up with something brand new. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. You just need to do something that's being done, but just make it better.
Do some outreach.
Yeah, do some outreach and just make your offering unique and better.
But you send an email, not a voice note.
Well, sometimes it's got to be the email because all you've got is the email address. You get them on WhatsApp and then you can pop them a voice note.
Yeah, pop the voice.
Try and get them on WhatsApp.
Yeah.
Try and get them, then they can, because you can't voice note over email. Yeah. Maybe that's the next project. Work out you can build in like voice notes.
So you're looking to turn. Let's talk about the future, right? You're looking to turn the snapshot people into, or maybe it already is. It's going to be a full blown branding agency. Like, let's tell us about your plans.
Yeah, it's going the way.
And then, boom, I don't know, like. Yeah, man. Tell people like your plans for the future, and then where to find you, locate you, where to turn.
Yeah, so we're the Snapshot People on Instagram, on TikTok. We're gonna maybe with the help of yourself, we're gonna do some big things on TikTok this year. Yeah, so the Snapshot People across the board. We've got a big swanky website coming on the way, www.snapshotpeople.com. And
of course,
I've always wanted to stay away from the word agency because agency implies that. It sounds quite transactional, but I guess we are heading the direction of an agency, photo and video. We do a bit of everything and we do it fucking well as well. So we've pivoted now into this brand agency that, you know, maybe shoots events, weddings, destination stuff, big branding stuff, you know, stuff for magazines, stuff that ends up in newspapers. But really I said this last time as well, where it lands, the most exciting thing for me is I don't know where it's going to land. I just know that I want to continue being authentic, continue enjoying making people happy, just seeing the smiles on people's faces. While I'm doing that, what can go wrong? So I just want to continue on this upwards trajectory we seem to be on, and just enjoy every day, and just find new ways to you know, it's easy when you're doing so many amazing things to be desensitized. Gamify things, play this game, like try and score high scores against yourself. Just keep things interesting, just more of the same. In an even better way. And I don't know how I'm going to do it, but watch this space because it's going to be fun.
Yo, thank you very much for coming on the podcast, bro. Is there anything else that we haven't touched on? More, there's probably loads, but anything you just want to drop in there?
It really is a privilege to be asked to do things like this. This is, in the process of building the business, it was never something I considered. Me as a person, being able to have a platform to unbelievably be giving advice to people. I'm not the oracle, but it's a privilege. It really is. And I just want to say to anyone listening, you can be anyone you want. You can do anything you want. Just have that chat. You don't know who you're talking to. It can change your life. Just ask the question, knock on the door, and if they don't answer, knock again. Just keep knocking. They might tell you to piss off, but you've tried. It's better to regret doing something than not doing it, I say. So, yeah, let's smash it in 2024.
Boom, let's smash it in 2024, man. Make sure you like, comment, share, subscribe, and share this with somebody that needs to hear it, yeah? A-Man Specialist, we're over and out. Lots of love, always.